And just a quick view of what we mean here by non-municipal facility. So that would capture any non-city operated entity that would be intended for the detention, incarceration, confinement, correction, or holding of individuals, including but not limited to jails, prisons, detention centers, correctional facilities, holding facilities, or similar carceral uses. And that would be whether it is for temporary or permanent purposes. Why moratorium? This would not be the first moratorium that the city of St. Louis has established. Our zoning authority does give us the well-established ability for temporary suspensions. Detention facilities could be used to target marginalized groups. I think it's possible you could insert a certain group today, and in 2 years there could be another group that is being targeted. And so this is just a proactive way for us to determine for ourselves that we are not interested. When I sit down and hear residents talk about what they think the city of St. Louis needs, I've not heard a single resident say, I think we need a non-municipal detention facility. And so this just gives us the opportunity to establish a moratorium that would align us with that.
We gathered feedback, and we really just opened the door to the conversation. We answered as many questions as we could. But what matters more than what we started is what we heard. So we engaged broadly. We heard.
I think multiple times last week it was said that this is a one-time exception. What language in the bill is pointing this being a one-time exception?
My computer died, so if you can entertain me as I pull the bill up on my phone.
Sure, I'll entertain. So again, quoting the bill here, it says a convention facility is defined by this ordinance, but the ordinance doesn't define it. Located within the city of St. Louis may host a time-limited, private and ticketed, specialized convention involving on-site smoking activities only upon satisfaction of all requirements set forth in the subsection. So it says time-limited. It doesn't say one time. And my understanding is we're actually asking for exceptions so that a convention can come and can come year after year after year. Is that correct?
That could be an option, Alderman.
My colleague from the 9th enumerated a couple of my concerns or reiterated some of my concerns that I've shared previously. But he did bring up a really important point, which is that there is no definition of a convention center in this bill. It refers to previous definition. If you look at the 6-page bill of the original, which is now law, there is no definition of a convention center in that either. That's not ambiguous. That is a lack of a definition. So by virtue of what is in the existing board bill, what is in there currently in this 3-page document is a convention facility as defined by this ordinance, which there is no definition, located within the city of St. Louis, may host a time-limited, private and ticketed, specialized convention involving on-site smoking activities upon satisfaction of all requirements set forth in this subsection, solely for the duration of the permitted event and trade show, and shall not constitute a permanent exemption for the requirements of this ordinance. There's no definition of what that convention facility is. And so exactly to his earlier point, there is other facilities either adjacent to or nearby that could host conventions and work with the CVC on conventions, hotels that have ballrooms, casinos that have ballrooms. These are entities that regularly work with the CVC on hosting events and conventions. There is no definition in here that specifically spells out, and he's right, right across the street on 14th and Clark, that's still a publicly owned building. Whether or not you want to get into the semantics of all of that is fine, but right now there isn't any to debate because there's not a definition in the original language of the bill defining what a convention facility is, and there's no definition in this existing bill that defines that either. You when we bring forth this legislation, it's important to make sure that we have definitions that define the parameters of what we're trying to do, either within a section dedicated to definitions or in a whereas clause. And this has neither.